have access to so much content, and here we are, a small company investing in another small company. We could market their show better than they could, but ultimately you're going to market your company better than I'm going to market your company in theory, because you care more about your company than I do.
Yeah.
And so it's perplexing because, like, sure, there's lots of vendor booths here.
Yeah.
But how many times are the vendors going to take a chance on your brand when you put a show together and nobody's here?
Yes.
Especially when you're like, I've never heard of this group before. No, that's a large activation.
Yeah.
I've never heard of multiple people, and very few prospects.
Well, and here's the thing: you're trying to attract people like us, right?
Right.
Because that's who you're trying to sell to.
Hey everybody, Stephen with Canna Connect, taking a quick minute to shout out today's sponsor, CEE. That is the Center for Energy and Environment. If you're not familiar with CEE, they're your one-stop shop for all lighting rebates. If you are in XL Energy territory and you're a micro business, CEE is somebody that you need to talk to. Give Brad a call, give Tony a call, go online, one-stop shop, LED lighting rebates. They'll help take care of up to 60% of the costs associated with your grow and your build-out with the lighting. Really nice people, great people to work with, huge sponsors of Canna Connect, and give them a shout. That's CEE, Center for Energy and Environment.
And the only reason I came is because I had this and I had the panel.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing here that interested me otherwise. And there was no...
And you have the internet.
Yes, correct. I can find these people.
You pay your phone bill.
Same reason that I went to NECAN. I was on a panel at NECAN.
Yeah,
right. So like, it's not to go search something out.
And like I liken it from like a blockchain perspective. Like one thing that's worked for me for a long time is that I'll build on top of something that's already working.
Yeah.
Even going back to 2022. When Trail Magic hosted a cannabis beverage bar that was like the first of its kind. It was a defunct brewery, and they came in with their liquor distributor, and they did all CBD THC beverages.
Yeah.
And I hosted a happy hour there.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. We pay the tab, and they sell the drinks.
Yeah.
I still see that in this way, but I also have to look out for our network, which is largely ancillary, to know it costs a lot to fly. It costs a lot to activate. It costs a lot to ship.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. If these people aren't local, they're not making money on this show.
Right. But there's already a long tail return to shows because of your sales cycle. But yeah, I mean, Frostbite would be crazy to have a booth here.
Yeah. I looked at it and I was like, I don't see any reason to do that. If they really want to get people like us in here, they need to get cultivators in here. They need to get manufacturers in here, people that can supply us product.
Yeah.
And then the other ancillary people will win by proxy.
Right. And I think that is where our minds are at when it comes to Brainerd. I think that's where Munir and Yonel's mind is at when it comes to the MN marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's to some degree where Legacy Cup is at with things.
Mm-hmm.
But trade shows, conference centers are very against the plant.
Yes.
So it doesn't lend itself to have, there's no ability to sample or have even product on display.
Right.
And so maybe large trade shows aren't the best place for cannabis events. I think that might be pretty fair to say.
You need to have like Legacy, right? Because they do a cannabis event license so that you can do those other things.
Right. Now, the good and the bad with Legacy is that it's very much a consumer-driven event.
Yes.
So you're not necessarily there to remember your day. You're there to enjoy your day.
Yes.
Yes. Which might make it hard for cultivation, manufacturing type conversations.
Yep.
But I wish there was like term limits to these national trade shows to come through like 2 years, like a short term, like a short term. I mean, I'm glad I can have this conversation with you because you are you and your wife are a prime example of who's not here.
Yeah.
Like you are here, but like you said, you're here for a specific reason. You're here for a speaking engagement
Yes.
and or two.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you being on here. We appreciate the opportunity to have worked with Frostbite and to have aided in the launch as well as the 420 opening and not the opening, but the 420 like real. Tell me about like looking back now, you're 2 months following 420. Like, how much did gearing up for 420 help your brand and the wave following it? So like, I would imagine your customers are pretty consistent and they count on you for great access to flower.
Yeah, absolutely. So we prepared for 420 starting in February, right? We were fully aware of our position in the market, knowing that we were one of the few stores that would have a reliable supply to be able to supply that demand.
Yeah.
So we started creating backstock months ahead of time
Right.
because the market didn't have it. And that led to a successful 420.
Yeah.
Because we had the variety, we had the staff that was trained and prepared for it.
Yeah.
And our customers are very, very loyal. In retail, typically 20% return customer rate is good,
Okay.
right? We're somewhere between 70 and 75%.
Ooh. Wow.
If they come in, they come back.
Yeah.
And that's because we have the product they're looking for, the people they enjoy, and the experience that they enjoy.
What made you choose Roseville from a location standpoint?
There's a couple things of why we chose Roseville. It's proximity to the large cities while also still being in a capped market.
Okay.
I think what we're seeing in Minneapolis is a prime reason of why you don't let dispensaries build on top of each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all suffer.
Sure.
So that was part of the reason.
Yeah.
Roseville has been dear to my wife and I for a long time.
Okay.
When we met, she lived half a mile maybe from where our store is.
Oh, wow.
So it's been something that's always interested us. The city was very easy to work with in comparison to some of the other cities you're seeing that are intentionally trying to keep cannabis businesses out.
Yeah.
And then it fit our demographic for our business plans, right? We had a very set, targeted demographic of people we wanted to do business with.
Yeah.
And Roseville fit that.
Great. How many months now have you been open?
We've been open just over 6 months.
Yeah.
Officially, our grand opening was January 5th.
Okay.
We had a small soft launch before that to kind of work out kinks and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're moving into month 7 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what would you say, generally speaking, like what's working? What are you continuing to spend time on versus what are some of the things that you're saying, well, maybe it's not necessarily that big of a deal for me to really worry about too much?
What consistently works for us is owning the customer experience, making sure they have a positive experience with a knowledgeable person every time they come in.
Yeah.
Making sure that they have the products they're looking for. Obviously, Minnesota has a weird thing going on with vapes at the moment, but aside from that,
let's stop there.
Yeah.
Distillate vapes. Most of these vapes are distillate based.
Yep.
So is there a lack of distillate in the marketplace, in the space as a whole?
So the vape problem is multi-pronged, and it all kind of happened at the same time, which is what's causing this kind of statewide shortage, right? There's a lack of available distillate at a reasonable price.
I'm hearing like $25,000 a kilo.
If you buy multiple. If you're buying a single kilo, it's upwards of $35,000. You can't compete with the legacy market in any way at that price point. It's not possible. So you've got that issue. You've got the issue of Minnesota this last legislative session tried to ban disposables.
Right.
So manufacturers kind of held back for a second to see how that would shake out.
Did that end up passing?
It didn't pass.
No.
I never thought that it would, but I could see why it would give manufacturers pause, right?
Okay. Because you don't want to produce a bunch of product that you wouldn't be able to then sell.
Yes.
Okay.
On top of that, unfortunate timing, one of our testing labs got their license pulled.
Right.
So any product that was in progress there or was going there, all had to shift to one of the other labs.
So do you know, maybe you do or not, maybe you don't know, but like the Legend Technical Services, the products that they had in queue, then those had to get delivered back to the manufacturer of those products, and then the manufacturer had to then go find a new testing space so it created a roadblock or a traffic jam.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely. It's created this artificial backlog that really shouldn't have been there. And it's stressing out the other labs because they had this sudden influx when they already had a pretty full plate.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You are, as a retailer, you are not directly engaged with testing, but you deal with the repercussions of a testing backlog. That's fair to say.
Oh, absolutely. I am typically trying to be involved at the point when cultivators are putting seeds in the ground. And I know their time frame from that moment to when they harvest to when they're sending it to the lab.
You talked about, starting as early as February in developing kind of a stash, right? The 420, bringing it out. But in order to be able to do that, you have to have the relationships with the growers in order to be able to secure the product. How, you're not an overly outward facing person. How were you able to develop such a strong network of growers within Minnesota? And take me through the timeline of when you first started to reach out to some of these folks.
I've been reaching out to these cultivators for 2 years.
Wow.
Getting to know them, understanding where they are in their process, because Minnesota licensed cultivators and retailers at the same time.
Right.
So we were all going through the same process.
Pre-approval.
Yep. So I was keeping tabs on where different people were in their process, if they got licensed, where they were at in their grow. And I meet people where they are. I'm not an email person. I'm a face-to-face person.
Sure.
I will drive all over this state to go and introduce myself.
Cool.
That's how I like to do business. That's how my wife likes to do business. And it's successful because they get to understand who they're doing business with.
IRL.
Yeah.
Human to human.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So within the last 6 months, how many different brands of flower products have you been able to carry on your shelves?
Different brands,
like
yeah,
different cultivators.
Yeah, different cultivators. We've probably had about 12 different cultivators come through.
Wow.
At any time, we have between 30 and 50 different strains from those cultivators of flower, pre-rolls, usually vapes, but not right now.
Not right now.
And we've been fortunate to get some of the limited concentrate that's even been on the market.
Yeah, the C Labs and products like that. Great products, limited supply.
Yes.
High price.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. The price of those things, it's obviously dictated by the fact that our flower price is about 4 times the national average right now, right? So it's not cost effective to make concentrate unless that is your goal from the beginning.
So. Yeah. Have you noticed, from a consumer side, have you noticed a large variance or variety in quality when it comes to the cultivators that are selling online?
Yeah, there is a wild range of quality.
Wow.
And they all, not all of them. Some of them are fair on pricing, but there is a wide range of pricing too.
Yeah.
And fortunately, most of them, I've been able to go out to their site, see how they're cultivating, see how they're treating their plants, make sure that it's something that we also want to engage in as a business, and is something that our customers will enjoy.
Transparency.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't make you name any brand names, but what strain types are you a fan of personally?
Personally, I prefer something that's a little bit higher in like caryophyllene and myrcene. I like to relax when I'm smoking. My mind is going all of the time with this business and with our home life.
Yeah.
So when I do indulge, I try to kind of mellow out rather than have something that's more uplifting and energizing.
Sure. Absolutely. Now, one of the last conversations I had with you prior to this was you were getting ready to turn on delivery. I want to know a lot about that. So how complex is it for a dispensary to offer delivery in Minnesota? And also, what's the good, bad, and ugly when it comes to being able to offer that service?
It's really complex up front.
Okay.
You have to consider taxable rates in every area that you deliver to. It is not based off of your store. It is based off of where the goods end up. To give you an idea, the metro area has 52 different taxable rates. So on top of that, you have to build the boundaries of those areas within your point of sale system You have to understand how to work with KML files, which are map files. Most operators don't understand that. If you get all of that right, then you have to integrate whatever delivery platform with the delivery driver's platform, then integrate it with metric. So it gets very, very messy in the upfront work. Completely worth it if you can do it.
Yeah.
It's exposed us to customers that we might not normally service.
Yeah.
As well as customers that can't come into the store.
Right.
We have a customer that she orders about every other day. She's disabled. She can't come into our store.
Right.
And she always wants sleep gummies to help us sleep.
Okay.
And we bring them to her, and we're able to service her when no one else really can.
So it's still relatively new for Frostbite to offer delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Are you working with multiple delivery companies, one delivery company? And are these delivery companies picking up at your store, picking up one order, delivering one order, and then having to come back to pick up a second or a third order?
So we work with one company right now. Great family that runs it.
Cool.
And no, we don't do like the Grubhub style or like anything like that. We do batches.
Okay.
So order by this time. This is your window of time for delivery.
Yes.
So otherwise, you're sending them all over the place, potentially for one delivery on this side of the town,
Right.
one delivery on that side of town.
Okay.
Whereas if we bulk everything, they can have 5 to 10 deliveries and go out and do their route.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
They pick up 10 pizzas, they deliver 3 to Henry, 1 to Brad, 2 to Abigail, 4 to me, and they're able to do that all in one swoop.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And how do you see delivery evolving within the cannabis industry here in Minnesota?
I think that consumers are still very new to it.
Yeah.
In California, for example, we'd get there, we would order delivery, it would meet us at the house when we got there, right?
Yeah.
Much more mature market.
Right.
In Minnesota, what we're seeing is there are a lot of not legitimate businesses popping up all over the place offering delivery.
Okay.
And it's not legitimate product in any way. So we're competing with that, as well as then the consumer trusting it. Now the adoption's gone up over time. I think it will eventually go to a more of like I said, a Grubhub or a Uber Eats style experience.
I mean, I remember Ease when I lived in California.
Yeah.
And then that company recently got bought out by Vireo, or got resurrected by Vireo, or is in process, I guess. How much competition do the MSOs present to a company like Frostbite?
I would say the MSOs present a bit of a competition in different ways, right? They obviously have more funding, more capital than a small business like ours, right? But what I have learned is that people like to work with local people. They like to work with a family-run business, especially one that takes care of them and treats them as a very valued customer. And what I've heard from our customers is that that's not their experience. When working with a lot of these MSOs, they are our number, and it's a sterile experience.
Right. Where do you see Frostbite evolving when it comes to the bifurcated supply chain? Do you see adding a medical option to your store?
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk a little bit about medical cannabis at large, because in Minnesota we've had very little access to medical cannabis. It was a very niche program. Very few ailments were allowed you to qualify for the program. Now you would see full flower, and it's been that way for a couple of years. But the way the medical program was constructed, it didn't serve that many folks when it was the most needed. Right now, we have stores like Frostbite that are able to provide adult use rec. But if you offer medical, then your customers can save on taxes, which is a huge benefit. So I'm sure you've considered it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we plan to move that way in the future. The DEA hasn't really given any of their guidance with the rescheduling.
Right.
So I would urge people to be cautious when looking at that.
Okay.
Because you have to tell them about your business.
Right.
You could jeopardize your adult use business by registering with the DEA.
I see.
So I would advise caution. Right. Talk to your lawyer. Talk to your CPA. Talk to everyone. But in Minnesota, at least today, you can still do stateside medical without having to go through that process.
Sure.
And so I've already completed my medical consultant program.
Okay.
I plan to have many of our other employees do it as well, and eventually be able to do that, especially with the combining of the supply chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get to talk to a lot of operators, and that's something that I want to do more of. But with the ALJ hearings coming up next week and the timeline being relatively expedited, from what I hear in the news, odds are pretty good that we're going to see adult use marijuana rescheduled to just reschedule 3. How much would that affect your business plan?
It would be drastically different. I don't think a lot of people realize that the effective tax rate on an adult use business right now is around 50%.
50.
Yeah.
Half.
Yes, half of our business. And that's solely due to 280E, the tax code. If that got changed, we would be able to claim business expenses that we can't claim today. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that. We can't claim our rent. We can't claim the wages that we give to our employees. We're one of the few businesses that offers full benefits to our employees. A normal business can write all that off. We can't. So all of those things would be transformative for
When I
business
pay health
like ours.
insurance, I can write that off. When you pay health insurance, you can't write that off.
Correct.
Yeah. Are you paying attention as far as what you're hearing in the news or within the national industry around this topic?
I am. Yep. I monitor it very closely because of how it impacts our business.
Right.
And I've heard mixed things about it.
Sure.
I've heard that the hearing, specifically on the rec side of things, has been very closed doors with everything. They're not inviting people that are pro adult use.
Right.
And they are keeping it very hush-hush.
Right.
That doesn't signal to me that it's going to be a sudden change. So I'm not holding my breath on it, but I am cautiously optimistic.
I hear you. I am hearing the reason why they're having the Sams of the world testify is because they want to give this is the last straw. You have you're holding onto the mountain with one hand, and we're about to just kick this prohibitionist argument off the ground. Because the administration has signaled that they want rescheduling for the industry. And yes, you could look at this and say this is an advantage for medical only, but the MSO news that I follow is very much saying this is a good thing because they're not wasting their time with the pro argument. They just want the anti-argument to be heard so that they can. Also, the other thing I'm hearing is that ALJ hearings don't typically go against the grain of what agencies are recommending. And these agencies are attempting to move towards rescheduling. So from what I listen to, I follow the Dales Report on YouTube, great national news within the industry. And yes, they're very much invested in the industry, but I'm hearing that this could be very good. And then you bring the hemp argument into it, which is essentially let's regulate it like alcohol. And potentially we get to a place where cannabis is regulated like alcohol because we've shown in this state locally that that is actually pretty true.
Yes. I think that hemp got a huge win over the last 24 hours. The administration made it very clear that they do not want the ban to go into effect.
Right.
That they want it to be regulated and they want to set limits on it, which I think that's what most hemp operators were asking for. I think shutting down a multi-billion-dollar industry is a terrible idea for everyone in this country. And I'm really happy that that's the way it's going.
And you and I know this, but for the sake of the conversation, the hemp ban includes seeds. The hemp ban includes CBD. Full spectrum CBD. And you can't have a Medicare pilot program and a hemp ban.
No, it's impossible.
It's impossible. So something has to give.
Yes.
And from what I'm hearing, and we've been living in this Trump 2.0 era for a while now, and we all went through 1.0 as well. So it's like, we know that when the president wants to get something done, that people take notice in Washington. And so it's grueling, especially if you're a hemp business, like a Trail Magic or a Mini Grown or, nothing but hemp. But these groups are pivoting, whether it's to RTD beverage, which is a little bit more popular, cocktail in a can, or getting a micro license like Mini Grown and Nothing But Canna are on their way of doing. So it's like the only constant is change.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
How are hemp beverages selling inside of your store as a recreational dispensary?
They sell really well. We've seen the shift, I think, in Minnesota already. Like hemp set us up for this. People are shifting away from alcohol towards THC drinks.
Right.
We've seen a huge reduction in that, and we sell quite a few of them in our store every day.
Great.
People use them to substitute that and not feel a hangover at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Or we have some that help people sleep at the end of the night, right?
Yeah.
So it's a large class in and of itself.
Yeah.
For the people that are passionate about it.
Minnesota's unique. Like Colorado dispensaries are not going to be selling as many liquid beverages as we do here. But, it makes a lot of sense. If you've been paying attention, if you've seen, the advent of CBD water and THC Delta-9 beverages and things like that. And like, it's a great form factor. We're used to a 12-ounce can and an adult beverage. So yeah, and we'd love to work with you more on the green standard and what we're doing within the space as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Minnesota was really set up for success because it was born off of the backs of like the craft brewers, the distilleries, right? A lot of them had to pivot with this happening. And we, maybe I'm biased, but I think we have the best beverage game for THC in the country, easily.
Right. And have had for the last 3 years, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I think back to Dabbler Depot, summer of 23, they had over 100 SKUs. I recently did a ride along with GRD and went to a couple of dispensaries, a couple of liquor stores. What bothers me within the space is like if we were to equate it to beer, and you see all these 10 milligram, 10 milligram, 10 milligram, 10 milligram, 10 milligram, that'd be the equivalent of putting like, oh, there's this new category and it's lager. And like with Canna Connect, we want to do things differently. We want to provide more options because we're very well versed in the cannabinoid, the minor cannabinoid space. So like, I just the only thing that rubs me the wrong way is like breweries came into the space, they were given a lifeline, and then they have yet to really innovate. It's brewery brand, Fulton, Modest, Surly, and then 10 milligrams.
Yeah.
10 milligrams. To me, it's saturated. It's very saturated, right? And like Frostbite doesn't have to carry 100 SKUs.
No.
But the liquor stores often are just carrying so many SKUs, and to me, they kind of all blend together.
Yes, absolutely. The thing is, it's like going in and wanting Everclear for every drink, right? You need a range because there's a range of experiences, there's a range of tolerances.
Yeah.
I'd argue both ways. I think you need to go as low as like 2.5 in a can.
Sure.
And I think you could go up to 20, 25 in a can.
Yeah.
Because I mean, personally, that's all I partake in, but it takes me 3 or 4 drinks.
Sure.
Because I'm a larger gentleman, and
Sure.
sometimes it just takes a little bit more.
Right.
But then we have these older customers that come in and are just getting experience the first time.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them a 20 milligram drink. I want them to start on the other end.
Right.
So.
Right. 20 milligram is that is going to be the cap on the recreational dispensary beverages, right?
Yep.
Okay. And are you carrying those now?
No.
No.
Everything in the market right now is 10 milligrams for the most part.
So does that mean essentially that there's not a recreational canning line available right now?
Because they delineate the plant again, right? So hemp is 10 milligrams, cannabis 20.
And if you're paying $30,000 for a kilo, what's your emulsion price?
Yes, exactly.
I see. So it's just not feasible yet. The market doesn't support it.
No.
The consumers would.
Yes.
But the economics to get there
don't make sense.
Got it.
Yeah, because the consumers are also targeting a certain price point for their beverage, right? They want a $19.99 4-pack. They want a couple dollars a can, right? And doubling that is not something they're after,
right? Because
they're trying to drink it socially. They don't want to spend $30 on a single can. So
thus, like Stephen Brown recently on Facebook made a post saying, we should actually be making more hemp edibles right now because there's less constriction in the testing side of that.
Yeah.
And very much these products are very similar.
Yes.
Right. A 20 milligram lunar versus a 10 milligram lunar, pretty much the same lunar.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, what do you think Minnesota is getting right as it stands currently halfway through 2026 within the cannabis space?
I think that they are trying really hard to support operators, the OCM specifically.
Okay.
I know a lot of people may speak opposite of that. but I personally have a fantastic relationship with our inspector.
Yep.
With the OCM themselves.
Okay.
And I've found that those business questions that you would have that, if you've ever called their line directly and they don't advise on,
Yeah.
they're willing to answer once you've gotten through the process. Well, they won't tell you how to run your business.
Right.
They will help you with legislation, with rules, with all of that.
Oh, that's great.
So I think they're doing that right.
Okay.
I think that we need to get more labs out there.
Yeah.
I think they need to expedite anyone that is interested in cultivating if we want prices to come down for consumers.
Absolutely. Do you have any interest in getting into the cultivation space?
Yeah, I think that eventually we will expand into that space when the time's right.
Right.
We wanted to make sure we had a really solid foundation before we moved on to that, so we don't spread ourselves too thin.
And what license are you operating under right now?
We have a micro license.
A micro license.
Yep.
So are you limited to one store as it stands?
As it stands right now, yes. With the new legislation that passed, we'll be able to open a second store as long as it's in a medically necessary area.
Oh, okay.
Assuming we do the medical endorsement that we talked about earlier.
Right on. Yep. That's great. Looking back at grand opening, 420, I know, you and I, we met through we knew each other, but we came together from a business perspective at an unfortunate time. Not every marketing company is who they say they are.
Yeah.
What are some of the largest lessons you've learned along the way over the last 6 to 8 months?
You really need to vet who you're working with, for sure. We've experienced that multiple times, multiple people, multiple agencies along the way. That is my biggest piece of advice.
Sure.
Other than that, be cautious about what you're spending marketing money on.
Yeah.
Not everything is created equal.
Right.
And as we said earlier in our discussion, everyone wants to come to you and get part of your business.
Yep.
But not everyone deserves that business.
Yeah, I hear you. But within marketing, what are you utilizing now that's working for you?
What we're doing right now is really organic, right?
Yeah.
Organic search.
Okay.
Email is a constant thing.
Great.
We're starting to move into text messaging, stuff of that nature.
Nice. Yep.
Honestly, the least important or the least movement for us are the things that a lot of people focus on, which is social media.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
We had that, we've had a couple tough conversations around social media, but it's such a shiny thing.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I mean, those platforms are designed to keep us on there.
Yeah.
And it messes with our brain composition a little bit. And, the way we talked about it is like there's a little bit of a FOMO if you're not on there because you think everything's happening on there. But really, it's much more behind the scenes than in front of the scenes, right? You're not going to those platforms are not designed to help you sell product.
No.
Unless you're buying something from those platforms.
Yes.
And in the cannabis space, you're not allowed to really sell products on those platforms. So I'm glad to hear that you're leaning into the organic and leaning into your existing customer base and working on growing that. I'm sure your reviews are continuing to grow, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that makes sense. It's marketing means a lot of different things, right? But at the end of the day, your brand is the most important thing, and how you get your brand in front of people matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone wants to have a certain appearance on social media, right? That's how they portray themselves online.
Yeah.
But the experience in your store matters 1,000 times more than any picture you could post, even if you get 10 million likes. Does not matter.
It doesn't translate to sales necessarily.
No.
Yeah. All right. So if another dispensary were opening tomorrow somewhere else in Minnesota, what's one piece of advice you'd like to give them, or you would give them, or you wish someone had given you dating back to January of this year?
I've helped a lot of people with advice, several stores for sure. And the advice we give them is be patient.
Okay.
The OCM's doing the best they can.
Sure.
Your city's doing the best they can.
Yeah.
The city's learning. They haven't done this before, most likely.
Right.
So be patient, work with them, and educate them. Because a lot of it is, this isn't the city's normal job. So work with them instead of trying to make an adversary out of them.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice, because if you can't afford to be patient in Minnesota cannabis in 2026, then you've entered Minnesota cannabis at the wrong time.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. If you want it to be turnkey and you can have a giant catalog of products and everything at your fingertips, this isn't the time. you need to wait 5 years.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Wrapping up, are there any trends that you're watching right now that you're leaning in towards? Is there anything that you're picking up from some of your service providers like Glaze that have helped inform kind of where you think you're going next with retail?
yeah, absolutely. So with Blaze and with all of our partners, we're really leaning into how can we give our customers a more omni-channel experience, right? Whether they're using our app, whether they're using our site, in store, we want that experience to be that positive all the way around.
Sure.
We strive for the best customer experience possible,
Yeah.
and giving that no matter what way they choose to do business with us is important.
Yes. Yes. I take a similar approach. Could I be a little more active on X? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But from a media perspective, we do our, I mean, here's the thing. I haven't said this online before, but like my Facebook account or Canna Connect's Facebook account is never has holes in it because of getting flagged early on.
Yeah.
So like I'll never be able to link my Instagram account to my Facebook account.
Yeah.
And that makes marketing on Facebook harder because if you start with Instagram, if you start natively versus going through Facebook Business Admin and like pop. So it's like to kind of coming back to social media, it's like it's hard to be perfect on social media. And even if you think you're doing something right on social media, it could get taken away from you. So email marketing is huge for us. YouTube, through the show and the podcast, like just being able to search and find what you're looking for.
Yes.
That's what, and also for them to find you, know, so, or for you to find them, I should say. So, billboards are pretty tough. I guess that's one thought, right? So how constrictive are the billboard rules in Minnesota? Like if you wanted to put up a billboard for Frostbite?
So if I've seen billboards, which I have, it's pretty cut and dry in the law and rules. It's a no. You're not supposed to do it at all. As a cannabis dispensary,
business,
right? Have I seen them? Absolutely.
Right.
But it's a route we choose not to take.
Sure.
Because we want to stay compliant at all times. And again, I don't know that the value's there. Focus on local, focus on the area around you.
Right. Absolutely.
Would a billboard help with a little bit of visibility? Sure. Is it worth a $10,000 fine? No.
So no. Yeah, it's a little bit of a novelty.
Yeah.
I tend to agree, especially with marketing. Take care of your backyard.
Yeah.
Be hyper local. Be known in your community. Those folks will speak much more highly of you than if you were trying to market yourself in another place. So I love your story. I'm glad we got to sit down and talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
If folks want to learn more about Frostbite, where are you located?
We are in Roseville, right off of 35W and County Road D, right at the top of the exit.
Amazing. Well, kudos to you and Abigail. Proud of the work you guys are doing, representing your family. Hopefully more to come soon, and look forward to continuing to stay in touch.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's Jacob Affeldt with Frostbite Dispensary, and you're watching the Canna Connect Show.